from the AP News. I don't know if this means World War III or what, but Iran's president and foreign minister died in a helicopter crash. And the AP says it's at a moment of high tensions in the Mideast. So this is, you can see from these images that were released, it was very foggy. And so the official story is that they were struggling to see, they crashed. It happens, they died. Many people are saying, hey, look, this happened to Kobe, right? Israel has denied involvement, but there are many people who are saying that it doesn't matter. It's like a Franz Ferdinand moment. This is the death of the president. He's the second most powerful individual in Iran underneath the supreme leader, their Ayatollah.
Right.
So there is now an interim acting president who's in charge. But a lot of people don't believe in coincidences, especially a month after rocket fire was exchanged between Israel and Iran, the president dies.
And they killed some high-ranking officials earlier.
At the embassy.
Yes.
Right. So Israel strikes the embassy in, I believe it was in Damascus? Is that where it was? In Syria.
Yeah, in Syria. Yep.
And then Iran retaliates.
Right.
Israel strikes back. Iran denies it. And now the Iranian president is dead. So...
Well, it's either the fog or the fog of war. It's very,
How often do heads of state die in helicopter crashes like this?
Very, very rarely.
And he's not flying in. I doubt was he flying in some rinky-dink little commercial
Well,
helicopter?
this is what I think is interesting because a report from a European news service was pointing out or saying, because of American tariffs and restrictions on Iran, all of their flight infrastructure is very old. So the helicopters are old, the airplanes are old, and so actually there are some issues.
Likely alibi. I don't know.
It's also interesting because even regardless, like if it is bad weather, he crashed a mountain, like total accident. There's another underlying tension of like, but if you guys weren't so restrictive of us, we wouldn't have this problem. So even if it wasn't direct aggression, there's a way for anyone who wants to spin it to blame.
See culpability.
They're going to blame Israel anyways.
Well,
right
in that
off
case, you'd be
the
blaming
bat.
America, right?
Pardon me?
In that case, you'd be blaming America. If you're saying you guys put all these restrictions on us.
It's the same thing. 6 of one, half a dozen to the other. Like to Iran, it is literally. It doesn't matter.
For them, it's their equivalent.
To Iran, it doesn't matter. They're going to and they were going to blame Israel anyways. Like as soon as it happened, Israel got blamed for the rain in Dubai. Like they're going to blame they're going to blame the Mossad for this. So I don't think there's any kind of question about where the blame would go. Whether or not anything's going to become of it, I don't actually think so, because I don't think the president, being that he's just the president, he's not like the Ayatollah, he's not really the guy in charge.
Right, he's not really the guy in charge, and they do have a cover of this fog, right? I mean, there was very low fog, and helicopter...
But that's how you do it.
Yes, pilots often go under the fog and crash.
That's how you assassinate a world leader.
Yeah. Right, at that moment, that's what I'm saying, using that fog, the literal fog of war here. Yeah.
Yeah, if Israel, or I shouldn't even bring up Israel, but literally any nation, the United States wants to get rid of the Iranian president, that's the time you do it.
Exactly, perfect.
And then deny all involvement.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the crazy thing is, with the way cyber warfare currently, the state of cyber warfare, I'm at the point where it's just like, I think it's fair to say, every nation has its finger straight in the machines of the other infrastructure of the other nations, and they're all ready to pull the pin at a moment's notice. And that's keeping things tied down. Because I tell you this, I don't think we'd be able to detect intrusions if the Iranians, the Russians, the Syrians, anybody, if they found a backdoor and then wrote themselves some access, it would be difficult to find where and how they did it. And they could be sitting on a button that could shut off electricity, they could shut off oil. And I doubt with this, let's start from this point. How many federal law enforcement agents are in this country? What is the number, like 100,000?
Federal law enforcement?
Something like that.
Yeah. So we're talking, how many people are in cyber command? How many people work private and public cybersecurity? I do not believe it is possible to secure our infrastructure based on how massive the infrastructure is and based on how difficult it is to actually track security vulnerabilities with how many people we have. The same is true for literally every nation. I'd be willing to bet that the US, China, Russia, Iran, Israel, they've got pins in every machine and they're ready to pull them at a moment's notice, and it's going to shut down gas, electricity, key infrastructure, bridges are going to be going wild. And look what the US and Israel did with Stuxnet. Do you guys remember this? Made a virus. I could be wrong. It's been like 12 years since this happened. But the general idea was Israel and the US are like, we're going to make a virus. that will infect every computer everywhere. And then as soon as the virus sees that it's in an Iranian nuclear centrifuge, it will blow itself up. So people had this virus on their computers that did nothing. And then one day, the Iranian nuclear centrifuges blew themselves up. They wouldn't stop spinning. They kept spinning faster and faster until they destroyed themselves. That's something that we know the U.S. and Israel did.
Yeah.
I'd be willing to bet zero-day exploits, meaning there's too many systems. There's way too many systems. I'd be willing to bet that if we went to war with Iran, all of a sudden, like our pipelines shut down. And then, I mean, look, here, you know what's wild? Last year, I think it was last year, MGM, the casino chain, got hit by ransomware. And they were like, pay up or we're shutting you down. It was a couple casinos. One casino paid, they were back online. MGM said no. And they were offline for months or some ridiculous amount of time. Unable to unlock their computers. Yeah. When you'd go to the casino, they would hand, like if you're trying to play a slot machine, they have to walk up and hand you cash. Yep. Crazy.
Maybe that's fun. Kind of old school, kind of vintage.
Yeah.
Not even. You used to get quarters. You put a quarter and you pull the thing, quarter comes out. It was mechanical. Now with computers, the whole thing was fried.
Wow.
Yeah.
That just reminds me how delicate the whole system is, right? Like once everything is integrated online, it just seems like the right person could take it all out.
Yeah.
Not to be cynical about the internet.
Do we see this driving? Well, I'll put it this way. I think it was Newsweek and Intercept both ran articles saying this is World War III. The Intercept said Israel's attack on Iran is not risking World War III. It is war, effectively implying World War III is now.
Yeah.
I don't see it. I honestly, I feel like, and this is just, not that I'm any kind of expert because I don't know anything about anything.
But Phil, you
like,
talking to a stick for a living.
I know. I feel like the operations that they're doing in Gaza, like they're coming to a close. They don't have any more major operations that they're talking about. Like they're about to.
Rafah. They're still a question of whether they're going to do
They're
a
in
full-
Rafah now, though.
Yeah, but a further siege with more bombardment. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, okay. So I don't know exactly what's going on, but it seems like it's winding down there. Because there's not a whole lot much.
There's nothing left.
Yeah, there's nothing really left.
And they're
So-
starting the
totally
conversation
destroyed.
about like, well, what will it look like once it's over? Which
Yeah,
is
so
interesting.
I don't see that. I don't think that this isn't going to be. I don't see an escalation, is what I'm saying. And not. I mean, again, not like I have any kind of like inside information or oh blah blah blah. I just don't think that there's going to be any more significant escalation with Israel. And I don't think that Iran. I don't think Iran's going to do anything.
I don't know that they have the weaponry to do much.
No, I don't think that.
I mean, they shot missiles at Israel, and they didn't really do any damage, as far as I know. I mean, there was very little damage done by those missiles.
And Russia's
do
got
they
too
have
much shit to
anything
do.
else? What?
Russia's got too much stuff to do. They've got plenty. They got their hands. They do have their hands full with Ukraine. Like whether or not it's not like they could go ahead and have another war that they could actually.
They're not
engage
as
in.
crazy as the United States.
No,
who thinks we could be in three of them at the same time.
Well, it is. I mean, the U.S. actually has a big enough military to do it. Russia doesn't. Whether or not it's a right idea.
What
Well,
do you think happens with all these geopolitical tensions? Like, how do the next couple months before the election go?
There's a possibility that this administration tries to exacerbate tensions and make something happen so that now we're at war. Okay,
wartime
now
presidency,
a wartime election makes it a whole different environment. And that's a very serious and pernicious possibility, I think.
I don't disagree. I just don't know that anything could save Joe Biden at this point. Polls are coming out claiming that Trump's at 23% among black voters.
Yes, that's huge.
I never believe it.
Well, it's
been
probably not that high, but it's still high.
Yeah, and I think there was this moment today where, I was watching Fox News and Joe Biden was just saying a whole bunch of racisms. Did you see this one where he went to the university? He went to
Morehouse, his
Morehouse,
black college.
yeah.
and then he was like just basically saying, "You can't succeed. It's too bad, not fair." He had one line that.
White supremacy is the biggest
Yeah,
plague,
he said-
the biggest problem that faces us.
You have to be 10 times better than the other guy to get the position or something like that.
Quite the opposite, frankly.
This
It's
is not
quite
the inspiring
opposite.
graduation speech.
Yeah,
That
right.
Didn't they turn their backs on him?
Some did
over the Israel issue.
over Palestine, and their valedictorian called for an immediate ceasefire,
and he said
Joe Biden
immediate.
applauded.
But he said on stage,
Yeah, he did.
He's called for a ceasefire.
Yeah, I mean it isn't. And then he went on to speak to the NCAA. So he had another meeting during that week, and I just think that was a blunder on Joe Biden's part. I think it's. I mean, I don't know, but I think that his administration is kind of clunkily trying to court voters among minority people, and they can't do it. I think he's going to, for everyone, he's going to have to answer for the economy, and he's going to have to answer for the geopolitical tension. Any young graduate, regardless of race now, is looking at the world saying...
That's why he said ceasefire.
Right.
Because he's trying to win these voters. They're not going to do anything. They've been sending these arms without any hesitation whatsoever. There was one issue where they said we're going to withhold these arms, but then they made a shipment soon thereafter.
Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.